Hello everybody. Today we are going to be solving equations with variables on both sides. So when we see our equation, we might have a variable x on the left and on the right, or whatever variable the problem happens to have. Now we need to move our one of our variables so that all of our variables are just on one side, either the left or the right, it does not matter. And we're going to do that by using inverse operations. So we're going to either add or subtract the variable to move it to the other side. So let's give it a try with our first problem. Number 1 says 8x plus 1 equals 5x plus 22. So you'll notice that there are variables on both sides. There's an 8x on the left and a 5x on the right. It is my choice on if I want to move all the variables to be on the left or on the right. And the answer for you is really how comfortable are you with positive or negative numbers. So for instance, if I decided to subtract 8x from both sides, I would end up with a negative x over here. I'd have negative 3x's. If you're comfortable with that, go for it. That is absolutely an okay thing to do. If you're like, I don't really want negatives so much, and you decide instead to subtract 5x, go for it. So 8x minus 5x, I'm going to do the positive version, is 3x. I'm going to bring down my plus 1. My 5x's are gone, and it's a 22. So I'm going to keep going. Now it just becomes our, do the inverse of addition and subtraction, and then do the inverse of multiplication and division. So I see I have a plus 1. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I'm going to have 3x equals 21. I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to end up with x equals 7. So I've now just solved my equation. I had to get my variables on the same side. So this is the step that was new for today. We have variables on both sides. They need to be on the same side. Let's try another one. So we have 3x plus 12 equals 5x minus 8. So we have a variable on the right and on the left. So again, I'm going to think ahead and go, do I want to deal with a negative variable, or do I just want to have my variable be positive? Well, if I have a 3x and a 5x, I would rather subtract a 3x because 5x minus 3x is a positive 2x. So I'm going to choose to subtract 3x from both sides, which eliminates my variable on the left. So I have 5x minus 3x is 2x, and I still have my minus 8. So if we keep going, I'm going to add 8 to both sides to get my constants on the same side. Constants don't have a variable. 12 plus 8 is 20. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I'm going to get that 10 equals x. So on this one, my answer has the variable on the right-hand side because I chose to move the variables to the right-hand side. Absolutely okay. If you ever rewrite that as x equals 10, absolutely fine. Exactly the same answer. Okay, problem number 3. Sometimes we might have a positive or negative sign in front of our variable, and we just need to be aware of that. So my two variables are the negative 5x and the 5x. So again, thinking ahead, if I have a negative 5x, I could add 5x to both sides, and now I'm going to be dealing with positive variables, which I'm absolutely okay with. So 5x plus 5x is 10x, and we still have a plus 32. So I'm going to undo my addition and subtraction. I'm going to subtract 32. And negative 8 minus 32 is negative 40. They're both negative. Combine them together. And it equals 10x. And I'm going to divide both sides by 10 to get my variable by itself. And now we have x equals negative 4. Okay, so you might want to pause this video right now, give this one a try on your own, and then come back, see how well you're doing, see if you're doing pretty good understanding where the variables move. So I'm going to solve this one by adding 4x to both sides. So my negative 4x and 4x are 0. So I have a 14x, still have my negative 9, and it still equals 19. I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and I'm going to get 14x equals 28. And then I'm going to divide by 14, and I'm going to get x equals 2. Now I do again want you to notice that it takes a couple of lines to do your work. You need to make sure you are showing your work. On a lot of the worksheets that you're going to be getting soon for solving equations, there's no space on the worksheet. That's because that's just giving you the problem. You either need to show your work on the back or on a separate piece of paper. Just giving an answer is not what we're looking for. If you can do the mental math, that's great, but that's not what we're asking you to practice right now. We're asking you to practice showing your work for solving an equation so that as you get higher into math and those problems become way more complicated with really funky numbers, you are really good at showing your work and keeping track of everything. So you might need to grab yourself a separate piece of paper before you start this assignment. Good luck, everybody.